For a closer look at the fight against ISIL in Tikrit, I sat down with PJ Crowley, former Assistant Secretary of State and U.S. State Department spokesperson. He is also a current fellow at the George Washington University's Institute for Public Diplomacy and Global Communication. He explains what the advances may mean for ISIL's hold on Iraqi territory.
Well, certainly every indication is that the Islamic State's momentum into Iraq that we saw last year has stalled, and now begins the long, difficult process of retaking that territory. I think it's important that there's a military dimension to this, that the Iraqi security forces simply have to perform better than they have in the recent past, and there are strong indications that it's happening. There's also a political dimension to this. If you get back into Tikrit, the birthplace of Saddam Hussein, the heart of the Sunni portion of Iraq, will you govern better, and will you begin to build a more constructive relationship between the Shia-led government in Baghdad and the Sunni population, in Tikrit and other parts of Iraq? Will ultimately be the secret to defeating the Islamic State.
What does this say, though, about the state of Iraqi forces and the government currently in Iraq? Because for quite some time now, there has been a lot of negative publicity surrounding their ability, and it looks like they're making some progress.
Well, there are multiple dimensions to this. Obviously, you've got the Iraqi security forces. Their capabilities have atrophied over the past 2 years. They're not as well led as they were in the past, and that's part of the dysfunction that we've seen, with the Baghdad government. They're now supported by Shia militia, the question is, do they have their own agenda? Because obviously, Shia militia joining in, to provide a military capability is a positive. But by the same token, if in the process of defeating the Islamic State, they're also taking retribution on the Sunni population, you may solve one military problem, but you're continuing to create the political problem that enabled the Islamic State, to progress in Iraq in the first place.